Before we begin, if you're drawn to messages that remind you of your power and your purpose, take a moment to subscribe, because nothing lands in your life by accident, especially not this. You've been through a lot, more than most people know, and yet you've kept rising, kept healing, kept showing up. And then, you didn't crumble under the pressure, they just expected you to. Now your enemies don't know what to make of you. They don't understand how you're still standing, still growing, still glowing. They're confused. They're afraid. Because you've stepped into the version of yourself that no longer needs validation, no longer reacts to old games. And as your energy rises, so does their discomfort. You are not who you used to be, and that is your power. Stay with me, because this message was meant to find you right now. And if it resonates, make sure to subscribe, because your alignment is only just beginning. You may not know it yet, or perhaps you've started to feel it in subtle ways, but there's something shifting around you. Beneath the surface, behind the scenes, beyond the limits of what you can see. And while you've been quietly healing, growing, surviving, and reclaiming pieces of your spirit, something extraordinary has been happening. Those who doubted you, those who tried to harm you, those who whispered your name with bitterness in their mouths, they are no longer sure. They're starting to feel the change. They're starting to sense that what once held you down no longer has that power. The old wounds they used to poke at no longer bleed. The buttons they used to push no longer respond. You've outgrown the traps they set, and it's rattling them in ways they don't understand. You see your enemies, whether they be people, energies, inner shadows, or old systems that underestimated your strength. They built their confidence on the idea that you wouldn't rise, that you'd stay where they left you, buried beneath their projections, shackled by self-doubt, silenced by fear. But what they didn't expect was your evolution. They didn't expect your quiet strength to outlast their loud attacks. They didn't expect the way your pain would turn into wisdom, or how your isolation would sharpen your discernment. They didn't expect you to rise stronger, wiser, clearer, and more aligned with your power than ever before. And now they are confused. They are afraid. Not because you've become someone vengeful or cruel, but because they can no longer control the narrative around your name, because their energy cannot touch what is now protected by the universe itself. You have entered a new chapter, a sacred threshold where your steps are divinely guided. The road hasn't been easy. No, you've bled too much, cried in too many corners, screamed into too many pillows for anyone to ever call this easy, but it has been blessed. Every test, every betrayal, every dark night of the soul was not proof that the universe was against you. It was proof that the universe was forging something within you that could not be shaken by small minds or poisoned hearts. You are no longer who you were, and they know it. They can feel it. And that's why they're uneasy. That's why they're watching, whispering, second-guessing. Because what happens to people like you, people who rise even after they were broken, is that they begin to carry a light that makes truth uncomfortable. Your existence has become a mirror. It shows people what they lack, what they fear, what they failed to destroy in you. And let me say this clearly, you are not responsible for their discomfort. You are not here to make yourself smaller so others can feel tall. You are not here to justify your healing, your success, your clarity, your protection. You are not obligated to prove anything to those who once tried to dim your light. Your glow is not arrogance. It is survival. It is divinity. It is the result of staying soft in a world that tried to harden you, of choosing integrity when it would have been easier to stoop to their level. And now that integrity is your armor. That softness is your strength. The universe has watched you navigate storms you never deserved, and it has taken note. Every time you chose peace over retaliation, you were planting seeds of protection. Every time you chose love over bitterness, you were aligning with something greater. And now that greater force surrounds you. It goes before you, clearing paths. It walks beside you, offering wisdom. It rises behind you, covering your back. So even as your enemies plot, as they whisper, as they try to drag your name through old mud, know this: they are powerless against your becoming. Their confusion is not your burden. Their fear is not your problem. Their illusion of control is fading, and what stands in its place is truth, your growth, your divine right to rise without apology. Keep moving forward, chosen one. Keep walking as if the road loves your feet, because it does. Keep trusting the process, even when it's quiet, even when it's lonely, because silence is often the sound of alignment falling into place. Let them wonder, let them question, let them fear what they no longer understand. That's not your concern anymore. Your concern now is expansion. It is joy, it is love. It is building the life they said you'd never reach. It is becoming so fully yourself that there is no room left for their shadows. And if you ever forget, if you ever doubt again, come back to this moment. Come back to this truth. You were chosen for a reason. Not to suffer endlessly, but to grow through what tried to bury you. To become something that radiates so fiercely that even darkness must take a step back. And the universe has never left your side. It has watched. And now it celebrates every breath you take, and your enemies, they are confused and afraid, because you, beautiful soul, were never meant to lose. So now you know, now you feel it, don't you? The shift is no longer just something you're hoping for, it's something you're embodying. But let's be honest for a moment, just you and me. There were times you almost gave up. Times the pain felt too heavy, the betrayal too sharp, the silence too long. And those enemies, whether people who once sat at your table or voices inside your own head, fed on those moments. They tried to convince you that the suffering meant something was wrong with you. That you weren't strong enough, smart enough, worthy enough to move beyond the chaos they created or the damage they left behind. But the universe, in its infinite wisdom, allowed their noise only for a time, long enough to expose them, long enough to refine you, and now look at you, no longer seeking permission to exist. No longer shrinking yourself to be palatable. No longer apologizing for taking up space. You've grown into the version of yourself that no longer begs for respect but commands it just by being. That energy is what confuses them. That presence is what frightens them, because your strength no longer needs to be loud to be felt. And your silence, it doesn't mean submission anymore. It means elevation. It means you're moving in ways they can't track, healing in ways they never anticipated, becoming in ways that rewrite the very story they tried to control. They don't know how to interact with you now, because the old you was familiar, predictable, pliable. This new you, this you that's been forged through sacred fire, who walks with your ancestors beside you and divine favor over you, they don't know how to touch that, and they shouldn't. That access is no longer available. What they once manipulated is now protected. What they once distorted is now clarified. What they once feared is now standing tall in the fullness of its truth. And here's another truth. Some of them weren't just afraid of your power, they were afraid of your potential. Because even in your most broken state, they saw glimpses of it. Even when you couldn't see your own reflection clearly, they saw your light, and it threatened them. That's why they moved the way they did. That's why they lied, sabotaged, projected, and tried to turn others against you. Not because you were weak, but because you were strong in ways they couldn't compete with. And strength rooted in soul and divine connection and authenticity, that kind of strength terrifies people who rely on illusion. You didn't rise through shortcuts. You didn't get here by faking it or stepping on others. You got here by facing yourself, by sitting with your shadows and refusing to let them define you. Be embracing your flaws and choosing to grow even when it hurt. That kind of rise builds a foundation no enemy can shake. That kind of rise makes people question everything they believed about power. And that's what you've become, a living contradiction to their narrative. You were the one they counted out, dismissed, doubted. And now you are the one they can't stop thinking about. Not because you're chasing revenge, but because your peace is louder than their chaos. Your joy is louder than their bitterness, and your continued rise, calm, steady, divine, is louder than any lie they ever told about you. The universe is strategic. It didn't remove you from certain people and places because you failed. It removed you because you were about to outgrow them. It didn't let their attacks destroy you because there was too much left for you to do. You are not just here to survive, you're here to create, to lead, to heal, to awaken. You carry medicine in your presence. You carry fire in your truth, and the path ahead of you. It's not blocked, it's being cleared. Every delay, every setback, every moment that felt like punishment was really divine timing in disguise. You had to grow roots before the harvest. You had to build endurance before the spotlight. You had to learn who you really are without their influence. And now that you know, now that you truly know, you can't be touched in the same way. You're not playing their game anymore. You're not reacting. You're responding from a higher place. You're trusting in something greater than ego or emotion. And that, more than anything, is why they are afraid. Because the moment you stopped trying to prove them wrong and simply started living in your truth, they lost all control. That's real power. That's unshakable energy. And they can't mimic it. They can't fake it. They can only watch it. From the sidelines, from the shadows, while you continue to rise, so keep rising. Keep moving like you are divinely supported, because you are. Keep choosing peace even when chaos calls, because your peace is sacred. Keep walking like your ancestors prayed for your steps, because they did. This life you're stepping into is not a coincidence. It's a calling. You are the embodiment of everything they tried to silence. You are the answer to questions your enemies never wanted you to ask. And now they are left with the consequences of underestimating someone chosen, someone covered, someone who turned their pain into purpose. Let them be confused. Let them be afraid. That's not your concern anymore. Your concern is elevation. Your concern is legacy. Your concern is alignment, and as long as you stay rooted in that, the universe will keep making a way. No matter how many weapons form, none will prosper. Because you, chosen one, are no longer in survival mode. You are in ascension. You are walking with a force they never understood, a light they can't reach, and a future they were never part of. And that is why they fear you. That is why they whisper. That is why they no longer look you in the eye. You carry too much truth for them to handle. So let them be confused. Let them be afraid, while you keep becoming everything you were always meant to be.